Hey everybody, this is Kodak here, and wow, has it really been a year since I talked about anything Yokai Watch? Well, the thing about Yokai Watch is it's still actually kind of trundling along in the United States. Not much has been happening with it. Yokai Watch Wibwob was cancelled, and we haven't really gotten any merchandise, but they did recently put out the Yokai Watch Blasters games, and I honestly don't think it was done that well, because considering that it's basically the spin-off of an international failure. Yokai Watch 2 sold 6 million copies in Japan, and they expected this to basically amplify with an international release. Internationally, Yokai Watch 2, amongst all three of its versions, has sold roughly 600,000 units worldwide, not including Japan. That's barely 10% of what Japan got. So, I mean, 600,000 units isn't bad. That's definitely a game hitting cult status, but I don't think it's what any of the companies were really expecting, especially Hasbro, because the show is still going on Disney and the games are still being put up by Nintendo, but Hasbro has stopped making merchandise for it because Hasbro hates cult status. They only want blockbuster status, which kind of adds an interesting wrinkle to the most recent announcement we got yesterday. Nintendo put out an announcement of an announcement that they are going to be announcing Yokai Watch 3, and of course, Yokai Watch 3 was a game designed to appeal more to Americans. You can tell just how American a game Yokai Watch 3 is because it's wearing a cowboy hat and has a banjo. Look at how American it is, kiddies. It's so very, very American. But here's the thing. I'm kind of dubious of the idea of Level 5 making a game that's supposed to be super American and appeal to Americans, because they've demonstrated that they have no idea how to appeal to an American audience, which actually, that part is untrue. I mean, they did find some mainstream success in the United States with the Professor Layton series, although it helps that it's like a Victorian England mystery series, and that is a bit better at having a broad appeal, especially with people in the West. But Yokai Watch 1 did okay. Yokai Watch 2 did abysmally. Yokai Watch 2 in the United States, all versions combined, barely sold like 200,000 units, 300,000 units, and that's amongst all three units. Although that's still not bad. Like I said, that's still pretty good for a cult hit. That's definitely a cult success, because assuming that like half of the crowd bought all three versions of the game, that's still like 133,000 people. That's not bad at all. That's a not at all insignificant cult classic. Although I feel that when it comes to Yokai Watch definitely has an appeal amongst people who have even a passing curiosity in yokai and in Japanese culture. If you're that kind of person and you somehow have not discovered Yokai Watch, give them a try. Yokai Watch 1 is really good. Yokai Watch 2 is a bit of a drag, but it's also really good. They're fun games. They are legit good games that are worth a try, and right now getting them is kind of easier than ever because Nintendo has discovered that they printed way too many copies of the game, and they're about $20 these days. Yokai Watch 1 and Yokai Watch Psychic Spectres, if you want to pick those up. I don't know if I can recommend Yokai Watch Blasters, though, because like I said before, it's a spin-off game that for some reason Nintendo still thought they could sell as two separate games. And even the positive reviews I'm reading on this thing all use the same word, repetitive. To which I respond, it's a spin-off game. What did you expect? But I haven't gotten any sales details on Yokai Watch Blasters, but judging by the fact that they basically immediately put out Moon Rabbit, which is a free expansion that basically gives you the game's definitive edition, seeing as they released that basically right away, it tells me that maybe it didn't sell quite so well. I mean, now that Moon Rabbit is out, I might consider picking it up once it goes on sale, but for now, I'm just not that interested in that style of gameplay, especially since in order to have a healthy online atmosphere, you need to have lots of players, and apparently there aren't that many, or at least not that many who provide a healthy experience. But the thing about Yokai Watch 3 is, the problem with Yokai Watch 3 is that, unlike the other games, it is more dependent on the medals and the watch than ever before, because these yokai medals here, the Dream medals, which come with the Yokai Watch Dream, which coincided with the actual release of Yokai Watch 3, is they basically have an amiibo chip inside of them that's designed to work with the 3DS's amiibo reader, this screen down here. It's designed to work with that, to be read the same way. Now, in my Amiibo video, when I said third parties making use of this technology, I was talking about the Yokai Watch Dream medals, not necessarily like third-party companies having an Amiibo of their very own, but I was talking about these Dream medals in general. Like, this game is so far the only game I can think of that used the chip reader technology without using Amiibo. I don't know if Atmon also, these chips also contain a chip inside of them. I don't know if this also used the Amiibo reader, or if it used the QR code reader to work in the 3DS game. But then again, the 3DS game sold only about 10,000 copies in Japan, which, like I said, versus Yokai Watch, which sold 6 million. I mean, even Yokai Watch 3 sold like 100,000 units in its first day. That's 10 times as many as Atmon got. And Atmon hasn't even gotten an announcement of any kind of localization, so I don't know if that's going to see any use at all. But here's the problem, is Hasbro has stopped making the Yokai Watch merchandise. So who's going to make these, and where are people supposed to be able to get them? I mean, I have a Yokai Watch Dream, I have a Yokai Watch Dream medal, so I'm not going to have a problem unlocking a lot of the additional content that involves giving these special yokai medals the burning trait or the sparking trait. I can do that. But the thing is, how are other people in the United States going to be able to do that, or is Nintendo depending entirely on the Japanese releases? It would not surprise me at all if they do, although here's the thing, is these were produced like 2 years ago, like over a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's gonna be kind of hard to actually locate these now. I mean, I guess they could pack a medal in with the game itself, the way they did with Yokai Watch 2, but who's going to manufacture them? Are they going to convince Hasbro to wrangle out one more set of the most expensive kinds of medals ever made? Are they going to have Bandai do them? It's generally a mess. I guess we'll have to see when they announce it. We'll have to see if they still do the separate versions of Yokai Watch 3, or if they just flat out release the definitive version like they should have done with Yokai Watch 2, if you ask me. Well, Yokai Watch 2 they still thought was going to sell in the millions, and it hasn't even broken 1 million internationally, so we'll have to see about that. I actually haven't really been following Yokai Watch that much at all ever since I put out my video over a year ago. And I have heard about Shadowside. I'm not terribly interested in Shadowside because apparently what it is Yokai Watch only as a traditional battle show. And like I said in my Atmon video, that doesn't appeal to me at all. So, I don't know. So far, I'm going to pass on Shadowside. Apparently they have put out announcements for Yokai Watch 4, which is going to be on the Switch. It's going to be interesting to see how that works. Although, like I said, a lot of the stuff that was supposed to follow Yokai Watch's coattails onto the international market, things like Snack World and Atmon, I haven't heard any announcements on any of those games anywhere. I'll go and do some digging, but so far, well, Atmon actually officially ended. The actual show ended its run 1 year ago, in like virtually a year ago, like to the day, pretty much, to the point from when I'm putting out this video. And like I said, I haven't heard any announcement of localization on it, and like I said, that's because it sold kind of poorly. Like, it's pretty cheap to get most of the first-run products. I mean, some of the second-run products can be kind of expensive, but that's because they produced barely any of them. But, you know, going into the future, we'll have to see how Yokai Watch 3 does. We'll have to see what this announcement is. If this announcement is anything other than you can buy it this November, then I don't have much hope for Yokai Watch 3. Because here's the thing. Yokai Watch 3, like Yokai Watch 1, has the perfect opportunity to try to capitalize on, because I'm not seeing a lot of people who are terribly hyped for Pokemon Let's Go. So we'll just have to see what happens. I'm probably going to pick up Yokai Watch 3 when it comes out. I need to catch up on the dub, it seems, but those are my thoughts on Yokai Watch currently, and until next time, this is Kodak signing off.